Hello.
Hi there. I just got finished reading Simon's blog on balancing life and work in the healthcare profession. And I think those ideas are really practical if you apply them, which kind of makes sense. But at the other hand, sometimes we forget there's that application piece. So I guess I'm just wondering, Simon, when you've really been in the midst of healthcare patients, administration, what did you notice are your biggest struggles in terms of balance?
Yeah, it's a great question because healthcare is such a chaotic industry, and especially more so now than it has
Mhm.
been. And especially the last 2 years have been just really, really difficult, I think. And so I think it's been really hard for us as healthcare workers to even breathe and take time for ourselves. And so one of the things that I know I notice a lot is that sort of increase in anxiety, feeling stressed, feeling tired, feeling like I'm putting all in a work environment and then really having nothing left for the rest of my life, and it feels really empty, feeling like I've really emptied myself out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, other professions could relate to that. Like I'm putting all my energy to work and not in family. But I think healthcare, because it's such a giving and serving field, that could even be exponentially increased.
Yeah, and I think that we are sort of a subset, right, of people where um, we have sort of self-selected to be very giving, very serving people, and so we almost feel guilty,
Mm.
right, when we hold back, and it's like we take care of ourselves because we feel like, well, wait a minute, I'm in this profession that should be giving all the time, and yet I know what I've learned over time is that as I've given more and more and not taking care of myself, I'm not able to give very well.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So really, you're like shooting yourself in the foot by not taking care of yourself because then your life and your family and your balance suffers, but then also showing up at work suffers as well.
Right. And I even think about people that I know I've talked with over the last couple of years that have said, I don't even have a social life because I've got all
Mm.
my energy put into work, and just even feeling so tired that I can't even, all I can do is sit on TV and binge watch TV on my off days. And so even the simplest things like grocery shopping or doing your bills just feels
Mhm.
monumentally hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I like feel that like, oh, I don't want anybody to be in that
Yeah.
situation. So, what would you say maybe is your number one tip? Like, what have you discovered on your own journey that's been most helpful for you?
Yeah, I think it's really hard, right? Because we are all so busy and we feel pulled so much in what we do. I think one of the big things for me is, can I just take a pause? Just a momentary pause, taking some deep breaths. And it's really interesting in doing something as simple as that,
Hmm.
how I can start to feel my heart that was racing without really recognizing,
Hmm.
and it's starting to slow down, or the racing thoughts I have of all the things I've got to get done. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm just going to concentrate on my breathing. I'm going to feel my breath in and out
Hmm.
of myself. And it just really sort of centers me in that moment. And
Hmm.
it's amazing how just a few seconds of that can
Hmm.
make just the world of difference. And again, it doesn't have to take a lot of time, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what else I really love about that, besides like not having to have a plan or take a lot of time, is you can do that pretty much anywhere.
Anywhere, right? Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
really love that part, like super practical.
yeah. I think what's hard about that is when we are trying to take that pause, and even if that pause is like not inside of our work environment, it's what am I doing with my downtime,
Mm.
right? Because oftentimes, I know for me, I can get drawn into scrolling on social media, or playing a computer game on my phone, or binge watching a TV show, none of which I find actually very satisfying in terms of feeling like I'm renewing myself, my spirit, my
Mm.
energy. And so finding those things that can be really helpful, like listening to some quiet music, or reading a good book, or having great conversations,
Mhm.
can really be helpful. And it doesn't have to be about work. It can be just about what's going on in the world. And sometimes we start exploring and discovering new things. And those moments I find really, really helpful for me in terms of, okay, this is renewing to me. And it may not be the same for you. And but finding that thing, maybe it's exercise, maybe it's being in nature, maybe it's playing with the grandkids, or maybe whatever it might look like, it's where's that renewal energy coming from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that question. It was actually making me think of something I learned in my group coaching is to really just notice what feels like energy in and what feels like energy out. And I think that pause gives us that time and space to notice that where our energy is going and what can we use to have that energy in for renewal.
And sometimes one of the ways you can do that is actually by making a list of the things that you're doing and asking just really simply, energy in, energy out, energy in, energy out for each of the activities that you're doing. And all of a sudden you can get a clearer picture of what's giving you energy and what's not. And again, in healthcare, we tend to put so much energy out. We have very little energy in. And the question is, where can I get that energy in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. I think these are some great tips. And if you want to learn more, we have courses online and coaching available. Check us out.